As I'm sure many of you know by now, the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed just the other day. Outside of posting a short about it, I refrained from covering it in a long form segment as lots was unknown at the time, and with missing suspects still, I thought it would be best to just wait. And despite no evidence coming out of it being planned or a terrorist attack of any sort, Biden already saying he will utilize federal funds to have it fixed, tons of conspiracy theories in the meantime have came out with little to no basis in reality, but have been getting tons of clicks and views, especially with right-wing media pushing these narratives. So I thought, why not look at a few of these and debunk the truth from what's false? First off, Maria Bartiromo spinning this nonsense on Fox TV.
The White House has issued a statement on this saying that there's no indication of a nefarious intent in the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. The ship involved in the collapse of the bridge is 948 feet long, called the Dolly, a Singaporean flagged container. But of course, you've been talking a lot about the potential for wrongdoing or potential for foul play given the wide open border. That is why you have been so adamant. Why has the Republicans had such a hard time securing this border?
Now, again, this should go without saying. These are completely unfounded claims. There's no reports of immigrants and any involvement with the crash, though it is a familiar dog whistle to just say, well, the open border, the immigrants have to be up to it. It's kind of similar to how everyone attacked Boeing and blamed black pilots for their equipment malfunctions, even though, for one, there's less black pilots at Boeing since their DEI initiative, so it's not like they're going out of their way to hire black people in any way. But two, black pilots obviously have no effect over equipment malfunctions. This is just Maria Bartiromo hitting all the talking points for her brain-dead viewers. In reality, Biden probably has some of the best credibility of any recent president to respond to this kind of issue. With his massive and bipartisan infrastructure bill set to replace transportation, put more money into these things, make roads and bridges more modern, the cogs are already in place largely because of him.
Answered, Matt.
Well, you know, as I said, you look at our critical infrastructure, and I'm one of these people that believes we've never fully come out of all the lockdowns and the COVID issues. And you can look at whether you look at our air traffic controllers, where we have critical mission problems with filling slots. You know, I'm no expert on what's going on the seas, but all I would say is that if you talk to employers in America, they'll tell you that filling slots with employees who aren't drug-addled is a very huge problem. So I'm making no specific charges here because we don't know.
Right.
Source, trust me, bro. Now, he really is only talking about corporations here, but I think the key line is, I'm no expert. It's okay, Matt. This is Newsmax. Nobody is. Now, remember, Trump, no infrastructure. Promised it, was unable to deliver. Biden, big infrastructure, bipartisan infrastructure. So it's weird that you have the left that is willing to invest in infrastructure. The right says it's needed, but never gets around to doing it. And yet it's the right trying to push blame on Democrats in any way possible for an infrastructure issue. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Now, this last is in the form of a screenshot, and the sentiment you can see here has been getting spread a lot, especially in right-wing circles, blaming the mayor and labeling him as DEI or even the ship handlers, etc. Which, first off, I want to say labeling the mayor as a DEI hire is the stupidest shit I've ever heard. You have to win an election to become a mayor. He was democratically elected. I guess maybe if you're appointed because of like a death or something like that, you could be like, DEI appointment. But he was democratically elected with over 70% of the vote at that, so it absolutely makes no sense. And it's all because DEI has become the new euphemism for the N-word, the politically correct way to say how you feel about brown people, as Republicans just pretend it's just this destructive force that's going to ruin America and our economy and the standards of quality going forward, which is something that only shows their ignorance on the issue because it takes 3 seconds to Google this. You could have found it out yourself. It's been around since the 60s. So if what they were saying was true, the data would bear that out. If what they were saying was true, we would have already declined, and they wouldn't be talking about needing to preserve our standard of quality so it doesn't decline in the future because, you know, I'm sure the effects are just on a 6-decade delay. Who knows? The Kinder Institute in 2020 did an amazing write-up on what is the real culprit behind this, the racism in public transit. When bridges and such were made back in the day, ones in black communities were made lower, so buses couldn't get under them, so they had less access to these quality jobs. This plays into the redlining that we've seen, so they knew what districts they could do this in, and there were largely two different standards of quality for what they labeled choice riders, white riders in affluent neighborhoods, and dependent riders, the latter always being in the poorer, heavily redlined, and black districts. I might do an entire segment on the racism that we've seen in public transit because it's a really complex and nuanced subject with lots of facets that you really have to delve into. I couldn't give it justice just covering it in the last minute of this segment. And it's also funny, the amount of people who make fun of Pete Buttigieg or others who have said this in clips when it's spot on. Like, it's so right. It's objectively just true. A single book, I'm telling you guys, a single book, read a single one, and you'll be on any one matter, and you'll be closer to the truth and more informed than 90% of the people on that matter. So if you do want that video, let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching this one. If you enjoyed this video, we're Social Society. We're a commentary channel influenced by politics, society, and the economy. We are pretty left-leaning on this channel, but we're open to our right-wingers as well. The biggest thing here is having conversations that get everyone to the bottom of the truth. If that sounds like something that could interest you, consider smashing that subscribe button, leaving us a like, or even commenting on this video. We even have memberships available as low as $3 if you'd like to support, because the only way we become a society is together. Peace.